As the Earth slowly completes its orbit around the Sun, it reaches a moment both solemn and hopeful, the winter solstice, the longest night and shortest day of the year. For millennia, people across the world have gathered to honor this pivotal point, a turning in the natural cycle that marks the death of the old sun and the birth of the new. Known today in many pagan and neo-pagan traditions as Yule, this festival celebrates the triumph of light over darkness, of life's renewal amid the cold and quiet of winter. The origins of Yule reach far back into prehistory, before recorded history or written religion. The word Yule likely comes from Old Norse Jol or Old English Aol, names used by early Germanic peoples to describe their midwinter festivities. These ancient peoples lived close to the earth and sky, their lives governed by the rhythms of nature and the sun's passage through the seasons. As the days shortened and the nights grew long and cold, food became scarce and survival was uncertain. The winter solstice, the moment when the sun appears to stand still before returning toward longer days, became a beacon of hope and renewal. Across the cold landscapes of northern Europe, communities gathered to celebrate this turning point with fire, feasting, and ritual. The Yule log, a large and carefully chosen piece of wood, was carried into the home amid ceremony, sprinkled with salt or herbs for protection, and ignited to burn for days. This fire symbolized the sun's enduring power, its warmth and light pushing back the darkness. The ashes from the Yule log were often kept as talismans, believed to bring protection, fertility, and blessings for the coming year. In addition to fire, evergreen boughs, holly, ivy, pine, were hung in homes, their enduring green leaves a symbol of life's persistence even in the dead of winter. Holly, with its sharp, spiky leaves and bright red berries, was especially sacred, believed to offer protection against evil spirits and to embody the fierce spirit of winter itself. At the heart of Yule's symbolism lies the eternal cycle of death and rebirth, light and dark, embodied in mythic figures and stories told across many cultures. One such story is the battle between the Holly King and the Oak King, two ancient nature spirits who represent the dual forces of the year. The Holly King rules over the waning half of the year, embodying winter's cold and darkness. The Oak King, in contrast, reigns during the growing half, symbolizing light, warmth, and fertility. On the night of the solstice, the Oak King is reborn, defeating the Holly King and bringing the promise of longer days and renewed life. Another widespread motif is the birth of the Sun Child, a divine infant born at the darkest hour, destined to grow and bring light back to the world. This figure appears in many traditions, from the Norse god Balder to the Roman Sol Invictus, and later, the Christian narrative of Christ's birth, each symbolizing the sun's rebirth and the hope of renewal. The idea of a radiant child emerging from winter's grasp is a powerful archetype, inspiring hope in the coldest and darkest times. Yule was also a time of feasting and communal celebration. Families gathered around their hearths to share food and stories, reinforcing social bonds during the isolating winter months. Music, dance, and storytelling enlivened the long nights. Songs praised the return of the sun and the hope it brought. Stories passed down through generations reminded listeners of the cycles of nature and the human place within them. In modern times, Yule continues to be celebrated by many who feel a connection to the earth and its rhythms. For pagans and Wiccans, Yule remains a powerful ritual honoring the sun's rebirth and the balance between light and dark. Lighting candles and Yule logs, decorating with holly and evergreens, sharing seasonal foods, and reflecting on the cycles of life and nature are common practices. Even beyond spiritual traditions, the imagery and symbolism of Yule have influenced contemporary winter celebrations worldwide. The enduring appeal of Yule lies in its universal message: even in the darkest, coldest moments, light will return. Life, no matter how dormant it seems, is always preparing to renew itself. It invites us to pause, to honor the stillness, and to trust in the natural cycles that shape our existence. In a world often driven by speed and progress, Yule calls us back to the ancient wisdom of the seasons, reminding us that after every night, dawn will come. Thus, as we light our fires, hang our greenery, and gather with loved ones during the winter solstice, we participate in a tradition that spans millennia. We connect to the earth's rhythms, to the mythic stories of light's triumph, and to the deep human need for hope and renewal. Yule is more than a festival, it is a profound acknowledgement that even in darkness, life endures, and the light will always return.